What is something you or someone you know has done, just to watch the world burn? I was a troublemaker in high school. I would steal all the doorstops. Like all of them, every day. It got to the point where the principal told teachers they need to stand out by the door in between classes and guard the doorstops. They even started numbering them. I still managed to steal them though. I must have stolen 50 plus doorstops in an operation that I called Operation Chaos. This operation also included dumping a gallon of mixed cheap cologne in a big hallway. That forced them to actually shut it down. I would put Vaseline on doorknobs, throw glitter up in the air during class changes, and I bred 50 plus mice and planned to let them loose with the help of friends. My favorite though was carrying around a screwdriver and loosening screws. I wouldn't unscrew them all the way because I would get noticed. I would unscrew them a little bit every day, on anything I could, so then about a week or so later, it seemed as though all these chairs and desks were randomly falling apart. Before homecoming I printed out a whole bunch of flyers that I stuck on billboards all around the school. These flyers were banning the students from doing the dance, the Wellington. There was no dance called the Wellington, but it sure got the school talking about this forbidden mystery dance. I was later expelled. How old are you? What do you do now? I'm 28 years old now. I still do things like this, but they are much more innocent. The stuff I did then made a lot of work for the poor janitor, which I feel bad about now, but didn't understand when I was a teenager. Some things I do today, let's see. I own a pet scorpion, Emperor, non-lethal 7+ inches long, and sometimes bring it into gas stations and things like that on my shoulder. When people gasp and say something like, "There's a scorpion on your shoulder," I exclaim, "You can see it too?" I also only pay with $2 bills, unless what I'm buying is $50+. It's fun seeing people confused as to why I'm buying a pack of smokes with 4 $2 bills. When people ask, I just tell them that paying with $2 bills makes everything better. Most of the pranks I do now are to friends and family and are pretty minor things. Good fun though. I work in a pizza shop. Every time someone orders 10 wings, I always put in 11, just hoping that whoever ordered those wings planned on splitting them evenly. And I have just started a war within the household over who gets that last wing. If I ordered chicken wings and got an extra one free, I would just think the guy who made them was being nice for no reason other than he's a nice guy. Singapore is a weird place. It is an especially weird place for an American teen. An even weirder time when our classmate was arrested at our school and was caned. Well, Singaporeans tend to be reserved, not outgoing. We Americans were generally more outgoing. And sometimes, we used it to make Singaporeans uncomfortable. For example, the bus stop was about 1-2 miles from my house. On the way, we had to walk by a big house with a few guards. My friend was with me, and told me the Prime Minister lived there, again a really small country. So, we walked up to the guards and started to shake their hand and just started talking to them. They were so flustered and confused. Because no one has ever done that. We weren't threatening anyone, it was just us two, we were really friendly, it was the middle of the day, we were just 16, and we posed no threat. It's a normal neighborhood after all, and we had backpacks on and school uniforms. After about 3 minutes, they were extremely nervous because they weren't trained for this. Seeing a trained guard, meant to handle threats, not having any idea what to do with people being friendly to him, was unbelievably hilarious to us. We had our fun and left. I worked as a camp counselor for a long time, and when I was supervising a big area alone, I'd bring all my water guns. I hate participating in water fights, but I love watching them. My favorite thing to do is give a water gun to one kid and encourage them to be as obnoxious as possible, watching while everybody else in the area grows to slowly hate them. Then I'll start passing them out to other obnoxious kids and build my own little squad of terror. But the real fun comes when I engineer their demise by slowly arming a resistance against them. Brother begins turning on brother, and I watch like Caligula atop my tall rock, dry and sipping bug juice. The goal is to have a full-on war break out by the time someone else is supposed to take over for me. I worked as a wilderness guide this summer. Among my duties was packing food for the kids ages 14 to 18. I would bring into the wilderness for 5 to 10 days. Every meal, chewy granola bars were involved. I would always pack 11 for 12 kids of the same flavor, usually s'mores, and then one wild card. The kids would get so sick of the s'mores by day 2 or 3, and it was the funniest thing in the world to watch them fight over the special flavor. Real Lord of the Flies shit. I hold the doors open for people who are more than 7 feet away just to watch them do that stupid half jog. I really enjoy it when they thank me through gritted teeth and labored breath. I love when people do this. I intentionally walk slower, just to be that guy. I've had people give up and just let go of the door and walk away. This doesn't work for me. I love making situations awkward, so I will stand there with an awkward smile on my face. I might even do an awkward half wave and call you Jeff. I built a dummy when I was 10 or so. My friends and I would stand in the front yard with it, wait until a car came by, and then beat the shit out of it. We'd tear his head off or lynch him or throw him in the street. He was about our size, too, so people usually thought we were beating up another kid. They'd slam on the brakes and get out of the car to chew us out. One time we attached his hands to the second-story windowsill so it looked like he was hanging on for dear life, and some lady called 911. That was the end of that. Speaking of freaking out passers-by, we had an emptied block of land next door to our house when I was a teenager, with a tall fence across the front. I used to drag our trampoline over to the fence, climb onto the neighbor's adjoining brick fence, and wait for someone to walk past before yelling, "Swan dive!" and doing one onto the trampoline. From their perspective, it looked like I was doing a belly flop onto solid ground, and I never failed to get a reaction. In the early 90s, universal remote controls were new. I had a grudge against a local AV store, so I got one of the programmable remotes. In the middle of the night, I turned on everything in the store, through the window, and upped all the volumes to max, once a week for months. I had a buddy who did this in high school. Whenever the teacher would attempt to show a movie in class, he would use the universal remote to turn the TV off, just as the teacher sat down. She was convinced the TV was haunted. I'm a security guard with keys to everything. However, this doesn't need keys. Sometimes I'll lock and unlock the glass doors electronically. If it's an old woman, they go through. If it's some punk kid or any number of my criteria to be annoyed, they have to try more than once. Sometimes I'll lock 2 doors next to each other. They try one, try the other. I unlock the first one they tried and they try it again and it opens. Most people really don't know what to think. Also, I'll lock a door and a person can't open it. They see someone go through the door 10 feet away. I lock that one and unlock the first door they tried. Also, if I'm really bored, I'll turn the push-pull signs around. I'm a dick and I'm sorry. I don't mess with the old, prego, sick, or disabled. If you are carrying a skateboard into the building, prepare to have trouble with the door. In middle school, we would have a bathroom break right after lunch every day. When we went to do our business, a kid in my class started laughing maniacally while pissing in one of the urinals and proceeded to aim his piss into the corner of the bathroom. He kept laughing as his piss covered the floor, and for some fucking reason 3 other kids started to do the same thing. By the time they were finished, there was a yellow piss pool covering about 1/3 of the floor space. That would have been bad enough. But then the 4 of them started to jump around and splash people. Fuck kids. 2 days ago, I was in a very, very long line at a pharmacy, immediately in back of a very obviously strung-out couple who were in the process of counting all of their change right there on the counter in the hopes that they would have enough for a pack of cigarettes. The line was ridiculous, extending all the way to the back of the store, and everyone was furious. This lady only had nickels and dimes for some reason, and was counting each one really slowly. She lost count and asked the clerk how much she had, and he said, $6.50. The cigarettes were $11.75. We all thought it was over, but then the guy she was with reached into his pockets, and, over the course of what must have been a full 5 to 10 minutes, slowly counted out all of his nickels and dimes. When he was done, he asked for the cigarettes, and the clerk said, "You're $1.35 short." The guy said, No, it's all there," and the clerk said, "Nope. You're short $1.35. The dude angrily began to gather his change back in the line behind us. A. Got so mad because what the fuck all that for nothing, and B. Began to clap with this super intense hive schadenfreude, like in sync and en masse. I looked over the faces of the crowd and then said, "Hey man, do you need $1.35? And the whole line was so furious about my sponsorship of this obnoxious couple and just like helplessly watching me cannonball right into their puddle of collective vindication. Oh my god. So I gave the lady the $1.35 and the clapping stopped, and there was just silence, like dead silence, while I went up to the counter and asked if it would be alright if I paid in change. And now everyone knows that when they pray, it is me they are praying to. It was the worst prank in the history of my life. I was a dumb child. I got super glue and I went around my house gluing down things that I thought people would rarely use. Top shelf picture frame, old scarf in mom's bottom drawer, dictionary on bookshelf, etc. About 20 things in total. I thought that people would come across these things over the course of months, that they would become confused and not understand how it kept happening. It was going to be my secret glory. My mom came across every single item in the course of a day. She cleans the house a lot more often than I anticipated. It was bad. Real bad. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.